Quilty is brought to you by Baby Lock Sewing and Long Arm Machines. Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Fairfield. Together, we can make beautiful things. Free Spirit. A new generation of creative and playful fabrics perfect for fashions, home decor, quilting, crafting, and more. Hovels Sewing. Cut it close with Hovels. Moda. Make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Thermoweb. Manufacturer of heat and bond adhesives and new Luxe interfacings, proudly made in the USA. Hi out there, you're watching Quilty this week. We have This Is My Quilt episode. My name's Mary. Welcome to the show, and welcome Vicki Holloway.
Thank you.
It's really cool to have you here. We were rapping about quilts.
Yes, we were.
We could do it like all day. Vicki, how long have you been making quilts?
Since the 70s, when I was a young girl.
What kind of quilts were you making then?
Back then it was just squares, mostly 9 patches. My mother and I hand tied them into comforters with yarn.
Yeah.
I didn't learn how to do rotary cutting and any hand quilting until the 80s when I had my first child.
Okay, so the first child was the reason
It was.
you got more into it.
It was the impetus for me to seek out somebody who actually knew way more than I knew.
Right, and so did you take classes then?
I did. Templates, tracing,
Yeah.
hand piecing.
Did you take any classes from Fons and Porter by chance?
I watched a lot of episodes, and I've read. I live in a very rural area, so
Where are you from?
Gaylord, which is very 6 hours north of here, and so most of my quilts, Michigan, are made from reading library books.
Oh yeah, cool. You know, the old school way, people before the internet.
Before the internet.
You know, there's a lot of people who watch and learn how to quilt on the internet. It's really similar to the way that you're talking about, where you know, if you don't go to a class and you don't have a friend who's quilting, how are you going to do it? You're going to go to the library, or you're just going to watch videos. We have people who say, I've learned to quilt watching quilting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot of things in the last 2 years.
Absolutely.
By watching things on YouTube and Quilty.
So this quilt that we have here today, we have to get to the quilt. We can talk
Yes.
about more, but this was featured in Quilting magazine.
Yes, it was.
Tell me about this quilt and how it happened.
This quilt was an inspiration from a photograph on a family vacation. I went to the ocean, which I don't see very often, and I took pictures of everything. I saw hotels, and I thought, why are all these colored banners hanging off the balconies? And I realized they were beach towels. That was the moment where I had the spark of, I think there's a quilt in this picture somewhere. So I tried to mimic the sky, the ocean, and the colorful beach towels that I dug out of my scrap bag deep.
Yes, and so Vicki submitted this to Quilting magazine, and I'm the editor of Quilting magazine. I work with an incredible editorial team. We work together to select the quilts for the magazine, and it's not like a who you know thing. I mean, I didn't know who you were.
No.
Many of the people who submit quilts to Quilty, we don't know who these people. It's not just like Tula Pink and these famous designers at all. It's quilters like you, and so you should submit to Quilting magazine like Vicki did, because when this quilt came in, we were like, oh, that's awesome. Yes, and everyone was like, yes, yes, yes. And so the whole team just loved it so much, and we knew we wanted to run it. And we've hung it to the side because we wanted a nice sort of look here to the show, but technically it's kind of a long skinny quilt.
It
usually
is. A long skinny to mimic a high-rise that I saw on the beach.
Right. And you used a lot of solids. Can you tell me about your relationship with solid fabric?
Solids is a new relationship for me because they've been very difficult to find where I live. There's a lot of people who travel a long way. We are used to traveling hours to quilt shops, so I had to travel about 45 miles one way for one of the solids, and the other one I happened to find a little bit closer to home. And I, of course, didn't buy enough, so I had to go back there twice.
But, another chance to go to the fabric store.
Absolutely.
Could be worse.
But I looked a long time. Grays have not been very easy to find in the last couple of years. Sure. And once I found these, I knew these were the colors I wanted. And
you didn't look online, which a lot of people would do. Why didn't you? You had a good reason.
I did. I've made color errors purchasing online because the colors don't always show up true to life on my monitor.
Right.
So I wanted to have a specific shades of gray. And I wanted a blue-based one, and I wanted yellow-based one.
See, this is, you're talking to a designer and a real artist, quilter person when you say blue-based gray versus, and it's true. You have very cool grays, you have warm grays, and that would make a huge difference in a quilt, and you cared about that. This quilt was the first quilt of yours that went into a magazine, correct?
It is.
And your family had thoughts about that, right?
They kind of raised their eyebrows.
Why?
They thought it was very different from most quilts that people see. We see a lot of traditional quilts in our neighborhood, but there are a lot of more art quilts also coming out, but this was very, very stark and different. I took it to work, showed it to all my friends, and got oh, it's nice.
Can you believe that?
It's nice.
Oh, crickets. Yeah, right. Well, if you like it, Vicki.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, we loved it too, obviously, and it's also it's easy to put together. It's not a very difficult quilt, which is what we look for in Quilty, is easy quilts. You came here today with someone very special.
I did.
Did this person drive with you 45 minutes to the quilt shop when you had to go?
He has in the past.
Let's meet this person.
Yes.
Jay, come on down. Welcome to the set. You can stand right here, your lovely wife. This is Jay. Jay, say hello.
Hello.
I wanted to bring you on the show because you are right now a symbol of all of the long-suffering family members and husbands and boyfriends to quilters who it's an obsession. You know that, right?
Oh, yes.
Tell me about your long arming.
Yes.
I
I needed an engineer to help set it up, and it's moved a couple of times, but finally has landed in a very special place in our home.
Jay, where is the long arm right now?
Our bedroom.
Right at the foot of the bed.
It's at the foot of the bed, and I have to tell you, it's not the first time I've heard of this kind of thing happening.
No.
How many rooms in the house does Vicki use for the quilting?
Well, the garage is still mine. Let's see. One bedroom is hers. The long arm is in our bedroom. The front enclosed porch is a fabric stash. And our dining room table is a cutting table.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so practically every room at our house has something quilt related in it.
Hang on to the garage, my friend.
Yes,
Try
don't
to
give it
hang
up.
on. Yeah, Vicki's like, give me time. Thank you both for coming on the show. Just
Thank
a
you.
delight to meet you. And you're going to join us again on Quilty. And Jay, you're a good man. She really loves making quilts.
I
Just
do.
Keep that going. Okay. See you next time on Quilty. Make some quilts. Bye. Quilty is brought to you by Baby Lock Sewing and Long Arm Machines. Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Fairfield, together we can make beautiful things. Free Spirit, a new generation of creative and playful fabrics perfect for fashions, home decor, quilting, crafting, and more. Hovels Sewing, cut it close with Hovels. Moda, make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Thermoweb, manufacturer of heat and bond adhesives and new luxe interfacings, proudly made in the USA.